Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to check out the patch notes for the Flames of Ambition DLC, which just launched on PC. There is a full news article talking about all the new features. There's an overview page for the whole DLC that you can find here, as well as the Champion Points 2.0 overview page, which has all the perks of the new system. We do have a calculator as well as a guide for it. In addition to that, new dungeon guide, the new dungeon sets, the new furnishing items can also be all found here. Some of them already do have images that you can check out. Then grinding, if you need grinding guides, you can find plenty of them here as well, and updated builds. The full news article, I will put it into the description. The builds are on alcasthq.com. Most of them are already updated, but please be cautious. The patch just went live. In the next 1 to 2 weeks, things could still slightly change. But things like the Champion Points 2.0 allocations is all there already, so make sure to go check out the builds if you're interested. Anyway, let's get started. First off, let's see. I think it's a lot of pages, but I will try to get through this as fast as possible. Most of it is summarized here, right? If you just want a quick check out. Anyway, welcome to the Elder Scrolls Online v6.3.5, featuring the Flames of Ambition DLC and the start of the Gates of Oblivion year-long adventure. Yes, that's something I forgot to mention. This is the Q1 DLC, which kind of starts the Gates of Oblivion like year-long story. The Blackwood chapter will launch in June, right? With the Flames of Ambition, we get the new Champion Point system, new dungeons, and so on. Blackwood will introduce us into the companion system and have a complete new zone and so on. This is usually slightly confusing, because they announced Blackwood at the same time as Q1 DLC, but anyway, that's how it is. This DLC adds 2 new 4-player dungeons, Black Drake Villa and the Cauldron. I played both of them. They are amazing. I really like how they play and how they look. Maybe it's because I like the style with Daedra and so on. And you also get, how to say, skinny legs, Valkin. There is a character that kind of looks like Valkin Scoria, but without the helm. You will see. There's new item sets, collectibles, achievements, and furnishings. Update 29, the latest base game update, free for all players, brings about a number of significant changes and new features. They have updated the entire Champion Point system. Yes, that is correct. I showcased this here. The system kind of looks like this in-game, and it has a lot of different new points that you gotta allocate. A lot of people worry that you need to grind to 3,600 champion points. This is not true. You can create a very solid build with 500 champion points, a good one with 1k, and if you really want to max it out, you need around like 2,200, right? It will be easier to gain champion points because they actually lowered the value here. Previously, to get to 3,600 champion points, you needed 4 billion XP. Now you only need 2.2. It's still a lot, of course, but they lowered the value a lot, which is surprising. I mean, they pretty much cut it in half. That's crazy. That one or these 2 guys that grinded to 3,600 points aren't happy about that, most likely. There is actually like 2-3 people that have maxed out champion points already. So, what's next? With a new UI and all new stars to choose for your career. Please be aware, they also said that they are going to monitor the new champion point system, so we will most likely see some broken builds with it, especially in PvP. But they will most likely adjust and introduce more perks with the chapter, right? So there will be more additional changes to the new system. Equipped armor pieces also now passively augment your character's effectiveness, and you can view additional combat stats in new advanced stats UI. Yes, that's another thing. Where's the news article? I made a video about that as well. There is now armor type bonuses and penalties. So if you're wearing heavy armor, it will take more resources to dodge roll. But we will get into that in a second. Then, housing enthusiasts will be excited to utilize a new feature to fast travel outside your home, and you have made several improvements when previewing furnishing and house guests here. The housing system is one of the best systems in ESO. It's kind of crazy what you can do compared to like other MMOs. Like, it's just way better. And people obviously like really like it. So I always welcome new additions, new items. There's a buttload of new items that you can get this DLC as well. Please note all skills are reset due to the issue outlined in this forum post, and all CP is reset due to the new champion system. I actually outlined this, I think I post a lot of things on Twitter, so if you want to get, like, if you don't want to miss any important thing, you should always follow me on Twitter, because I post mostly ESO related stuff there. And some memeing from time to time as well, although I'm not very good at it yet. Anyway, 2.2 gigabytes, sure. So let's see. 2 new dungeons, I'm not going to go into them a lot. They're great, make sure to go check them out. There's also good new sets that we will check out here. True Sorn Fury, so these are from the Black Drake Villa. Adds 700 spell crit and increases your critical damage by 4%. This bonus doubles to 1400 and 8% increased critical damage when you're under 75% health. And it doubles and it quadruples. So this here is similar to a set. What was the stamina set already exists. This sounds nice, but so it's a good set, but is it best in slot? Probably not, because it's really hard to stay below 50%, right? Most builds overheal like crazy in ESO, so you always try to stay as close to 100% health as possible. So it's really hard to stay below 50%. Yeah. Good set, but tricky to use. But even though, like, even if you're max health, it will still give you, like, points. So it's a good set nonetheless. But I'm just trying to say, you like staying below 50% to really gain the max buff out of this set is super hard. Kinraz. So this is probably gonna get nerfed. This is pretty much the new best in slot for stamina builds. A lot of people have done testing on this, and it performs better than all other sets. First off, you get weapon damage, weapon crit, and more weapon damage. Dealing damage with a lighter heavy attack grants you a stack of burning heart for 5 seconds. Up to 5 stacks. While you have 5 stacks, you generate an aura of wrath, granting you major berserk, increasing your damage by 10%. While you have an aura of wrath, allies within 12 meters of you gain minor berserk, increasing your damage on by 5%. So why do I already know it's gonna get nerfed. The reason is, you can keep up Major Berserk 100%. Major buffs are supposed to be rare and very unique, so they should only give you a low uptime on these major buffs. But this set gives you 100% uptime on Major Berserk. So yes, enjoy while it lasts, but it's probably gonna get killed next patch, most likely. But for now, it is pretty much best in slot on stamina. That's this. Drake's Rush, as the heavy armor said. When you bash an enemy, you and up to 11 group members within 15 meters of you gain major heroism. This is not right. They forgot to check, like, okay, anyway, I know, okay. So I am in the right section for PC patch notes, yes. This got ninja nerfed on the PTS, unless they unnerfed it again. This only works on 4. On the PTS, in the last iteration, this only worked on 4 players. And now they're saying it works on 11 again. I think they just forgot to change the patch notes. This is probably not correct. It's 4 players and not 11. Because the reason why I know is when I first was reading this set on the PTS, I'm like, mother of God, this is broken. And then later on, they actually tuned it down to 4 players, which makes it less powerful, but still strong in like 4-player group content in dungeons or arenas. Very powerful. Because once again, major heroism is like, you're not supposed to have major buffs up a lot, but this set, once again, you can choose, like you can jam out so much major heroism. So yeah, this is, they probably just forgot to edit. Nonetheless, even with 4 players affected only, it's still very strong. Good set. Then we have the monster set. 1k max magicka, dealing flame damage to an enemy. Grants you Behemoth aura for 12 seconds. It reaches up to 12 meters. You and 11 group members in the aura reduced flame damage taken by 5%. Enemies in the aura increase flame damage taken by 5%. If it's still 11 players, like the whole party for trial, very powerful. But I also think this got reduced down to 4. I'm not sure. Anyway, we will have to see in game because this also smells fishy. But yeah, very good. I mean, increases their flame damage taken by 5%. Fire damage is very powerful overall and is used often. So that's a huge extra boost. So like, Black Drake Villa is like juicy as hell. Kinraz, Drake's Rush, and Kratis. The Cauldron. Let's see, maybe here are the trash cans. I don't know. Dealing damage to an enemy applies Ritual's Mark to them for 10 seconds. Enemies with your Ritual Mark take an additional 16 damage from your summoned pets. Yeah, okay. By the way, you can find all these sets on the website here as well. Right? Like the Black Drake Villa, we will have all the sets and all the achievements listed. The Cauldron as well. So you can check it out what they do. Once the server is live, we will update them. Server is not live yet. So, I have actually gotten quite a lot of questions about this. Like, well, how good is this? Is it a good set? Yeah, it's all here. Nice. Because people see 16% damage from your pets done. That sounds like a lot of damage. But you have to ask yourself, how much damage comes from pets? So for my builds, this is not a good set. Because you have to see overall, you do 100% damage, right? 15 to 20% damage comes from light attacks and enchantments alone already. A lot of the other damage comes from skills. So most damage we do with our builds is from non-pet damage. So even on a Magicka Zork, which has 1 or 2 pets, this might not be very good. When we, let's go to the Max Zork real quick to showcase this. Like even if you use a double pet setup, you have unstable wall of elements. You have Moist Orb, you have Daedric Prey, you have Elemental Weapon, you have Crystal Fragments, you have light attacks. You have enchantments that proc. That's all non-pet damage. So the pets alone do maybe 10 to 15% damage. So you have to ask yourself, do you want to wear a set that only buffs 15% of your overall damage? Or do you want to wear a set like Mother Sorrow or Medusa, which buffs all of your damage, including your pets, right? That's why I say this set sounds nice, but it's not really. Unless like 80% of your damage comes from pets, which is never really the case. Dagon's Dominion adds 492 weapon damage to your area of effect abilities. It's actually good, like for AoE setups that might be worth it, but most of the times you can just wear Acuity and get 100% crit, which will be more damage than this one. But yeah, not too bad, to be honest. Full Killer's Ward. Activating block while in combat places a damage shield on you and 3 group members within 18 meters. For 2 seconds it absorbs 4,000 direct damage. If a damage shield breaks, the wearer of the shield restores 5,680 magic and stamina. Oh good lord. This effect can occur once every 30 seconds if a damage shield broke. Okay. So there's a 30-second cooldown if it breaks, and if it doesn't break, 10 seconds. This is actually a decent set for group content, I can see. So, wait. If you block, you and 3 group members get the 4k shield, and if the damage shield breaks on each member, that guy can get so much sustain. Yeah, that's actually pretty nice. Kinda like the Imperium set, Imperium, Brands of Imperium. Has a similar, when you take damage, you grant you and your group members within 8 meters a damage shield that absorbs 11k shield damage. So it's kinda like the shield is smaller, but you get the buttload of sustain. That's actually very nice. Good. I wouldn't say like the best set, but a good set for dungeon content and like arena content. Monster sets. Applying a status effect to an enemy grants you a stack of Sovereign's Ambition for 10 seconds, up to 3 stacks. When you gain 3 stacks, the stacks are removed and you gain 4 ultimate. On gaining ultimate, you cannot gain additional stacks. This sounds fairly underwhelming. I mean, if you want extra ultimate, I wonder how this compares to Bloodspawn. Is it similar to Bloodspawn? Then it kinda blows because Bloodspawn gives you more resistance as well, right? But anyway, I'm not sure. But yeah, there's a lot of like good sets, very promising sets. So they actually did a good job on that. Kudos. And also, what I have to say, like, it's not like annoying proc sets and stuff like that. It's actually well thought through, pretty much. So yeah, I like these. Most of the new sets, definitely worth getting. New collectibles, new achievements, new furnishings. So I talked a lot about the new champion point system. There is a lot of things, and just please be aware they will adjust it further. All the builds do have the new champion point system allocation. Now you will see up here the allocation can be found immediately with the link here. I'll put it here. The new system is nice, but like it's pretty much like for all Magicka DPS, it pretty much uses the same stamina DPS and so on. Of course, you can vary depending on what you want, but if you don't have much champion points, start at the top here and then just work your way down, right? To get to the War Mage, for example, you need 1,100. Like you need 1,020 champion points, and to fill it out, you need 1,110. You can get a lot of the good stuff here already. And at the point of like 1,200 champion points, you have all the damaging perks. And then up to 2.1k or like 1,900, you get a lot of damage mitigation perks. So don't worry, you don't need a lot of champion points to be able to play the game. That's false. Right? So it's all that. Like the green tree, for example, all you really need is the first one, which increases your movement speed outside of combat, and that's it. Everything else is, like, I made a list, but everything else is pretty much optional. The red tree, of course, it has cool things like extra health, more recovery, even more health, and things like siphoning spells, which is one of the reasons why we might not need False God anymore, because it increases our sustain by a lot, and stuff like that. You will also see that the stats, we still might change things around, but when we look at the max orc, here I'm running 7 light and the clockwork citrus, filet, buff food, and I sit at 24k health, right? So potentially I could actually run Ghastly Eyeball, which juices up my Magicka recovery and Magicka even more. Sure, it will drop health to maybe like 21k, but who cares? And fully buffed with the raid target down, you have 26k health and almost 2k Magicka recovery. So the stats are insane. Like, health got boosted up so hard, recovery as well. That's why, like, we don't really need False God anymore. But we will have to see. These are just first implications, of course. It might change again. Yeah, let's not dive into more of the builds. So let's go the champion point stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of things. One more thing about the champion points, make sure you need to slot certain perks, right? So for example, this one here, Fighting Finesse, it tells you add to champion bar to activate. So if you don't slot this, then it's not gonna work, it's not gonna do anything. The first thing I actually played around with the system and I went into the dungeon, I put points into these perks here and then I didn't slot them, so I didn't gain anything. So be careful. Every time it says add to champion bar to activate, you gotta slot it and you gotta confirm that you slotted it. It's a little bit tricky to use, but once you get the hang of it, you will know. So, okay, there is maybe a few interesting things here. You still only earn champion points at level 50 or higher. Yeah, all characters have had their base health increased to 16,000. So no matter, if you don't have any champion points, if you don't run a buff food, you have 16k health, which is insane. Up from 8,744. Same with other things. These changes were made to offset the loss of the 20% stat increase gained from the original champion point system. Previously, the old champion point system, up to 300 champion points, you were gaining health, stamina, and Magicka, right? They basically took that out of the champion point system and put it into your normal character stats. Characters now also take 10% reduced damage at base. There's a lot of damage mitigation lost. I always said the red champion points from the old system are the most broken thing in the game because they reduce incoming damage so much. To offset that, they actually gave us free damage mitigation. Characters now also start with 1k weapon and spell damage and certain, yeah, okay. Armor changes. So here is where it gets interesting a little bit. How far? Oh, it's already 23 minutes. Jesus. Light armor bonuses. Reduces your damage taken from magic attacks by 1%. Reduces roll dodge cost, reduces your movement speed penalty while sneaking, reduces the cost of break free, yeah, and reduces the cost of bash. So in light armor, you will take less magic damage than the penalties. You will take more damage from martial attacks, physical, poison, disease, and bleed. Increases the cost of block, so blocking will cost more stamina. And decreases your damage done with bash. Who cares? Medium armor reduces the cost of sprint, sneak, and block. Reduces your damage taken from AoE abilities. Increases your movement speed by 2% while immune to crowd control. The weird thing is, medium armor is like in the middle, it doesn't have penalties, it only has like bonuses, but they're less strong. Heavy armor reduces your damage taken from physical attacks. Increases the amount of damage blocked by 1%. So you can get like 7% pretty much out of these. If you wear 7 heavy armor. Increases damage done with bash. Reduces your damage taken while immune to crowd control. Yeah. Penalties. Increases damage taken from magic attack. Reduces movement speed of sprint. Increases the cost of roll dodge. So if you wear 7 heavy, you get 21% penalty. And detection area is bigger. So that's like the penalties are not super heavy, so I actually like that they didn't go like all in. Usually they always go all in, so that's good. We will see how that plays out. They also made extra changes, so like in PV we want to go all 7 light. Previously we did 5 light, 1 heavy, 1 medium. But now you actually get more crit, more penetration and stuff like that out of it. I don't want to go into too much detail, you should check that out yourself. But yeah. One more note. Previously you needed, like for the last 2 passives in light armor, you needed to wear 5 light armor pieces. That's gone. So technically you could wear a 4-3 setup, like 4 light, 3 heavy. Of course, it's not gonna be like super good, but it would be possible and you still would benefit from all the passives. That's that. There is a new window, the advanced stat sheet, which helps you like see like how much penetration you have, how much poison damage and so on. Fast travel outside of homes, yes. New furnishing, there's a buttload of new stuff. I think I showcased this here before, yes. Oh, pretty much all of them have images already. Nice. Eden Prime is very kind, thank you. That one actually looks cool. Anyway. There's 2 new cool houses, and I still don't really have a house on the NA server because I'm mostly playing the NA server now, but I might get the new City of Ash house, which is pretty cool. So that's all of that. There's a lot of cool stuff. Then there's new Battleground collectibles, new antiquities, system mail. Oh, this one is an important one. Beginning with this update, system mails will now remain in your inbox for a limited time. So I have items in my email that are like 6 months old or even longer, like probably over a year, some stuff. You gotta take that stuff out, otherwise it's gonna get deleted after mail sent by, okay. Mail sent by NPCs, edition, yeah, pretty much everything. When this, yeah, okay. All system mails you currently have in your inbox will be given a timer of 30 days. So if you don't take them out in 30 days, they're gone. That's crazy and will piss off a lot of people. But I guess, I mean, I know people that haven't like taken out their emails or like their mails 2 years, 3 years. My second EU account probably has like things that are 2-year-old because I just don't care. And I guess that clogs up their database, so they want to get rid of these, which is good. Might make the game a little bit less laggy and more responsive. But this is important. I actually have to tweet out about that later. Yeah, then general dungeons, trials. Yeah. I have been Asylum recently. We got the Immortal Redeemer. Like half of the animations in there are broken, and it looks like they still haven't fixed it. It's hilarious. Anyway, there's more stuff. Yeah, antiquities, hero storms, whatever. They made some adjustments to Watershran. If you're new, you haven't tried out Watershran Hollows Arena, go for it. Really nice. Achievements, dungeons, group. Where's the combat stuff? Here. Gaining resistance for a particular damage type no longer grants immunity. Okay. Yeah, so for example, I think a wood elf had disease or poison damage, or let's say Argonian had, I think, poison damage resistance. So the poison status effect couldn't be procced on an Argonian. That stuff is gone now, which is okay. Monsters no longer have random chance to apply status effects. Sure. Fix an issue where multiple healing and sets that were bound to area effects were not properly detected as healing over. There's a lot of fixes. Okay, this is interesting. There are now 3 new status effects for the following damage types: bleed, physical, and magic damage. Bleed damage has a chance to apply hemorrhaging, so they kind of reworked this. It deals slightly weaker damage than burning over 4 seconds. That's kind of like a burning dot, just bleed but less. That's why, like, we don't run an ox anymore on stamina builds. Let's take the Windwalker. Good lord, these, like, the build names are so old, it's crazy. We just use two daggers, because the ox bleed is kind of like 2 weeks and daggers just perform better. Physical damage has a chance to apply Sundered. It deals minor damage and applies minor breach for 4 seconds. Magic damage has a chance to apply Overcharged. It deals minor damage and applies minor magic steal. This is actually new. Like, magic damage didn't proc anything before. Flame damage proc the burning and burning effect. Shock damage proc vulnerability. And the frost damage proc maim, right? So magic damage now gives you Overcharge, which applies minor magic steal. Actually really nice. Still waiting for minor stamina steal, by the way. Reduce the bonus values, yeah. So the potions, let's see, I think I updated them, yeah. Previously they gave 40% like extra recovery, they nerfed it down to 30%. Small change. So there hasn't really been a lot of changes to classes, which is fine because people are enough busy with the champion system change. Fix, yeah, whatever. Necro doesn't really have anything important. Nightblade neither. Nah, there's not really anything interesting. Burning Light, this passive now has a 3-second window between each stack. Wait a minute. So are they trying to tell me this only goes off every 3 seconds? If that's the case, then Omega, Lul, Nerf. I'm not sure. Yeah, that sounds like it, right? Yeah, I have to check, confirm with other people, but that would be RIP. Solar Flare, reduce the cast time to 0.8. Okay, that's actually nice. I hate long cast times. But the nerf, that's a lot of nerf for only a 0.2 second gain. Developer comment, we like to change things. Anyway, I'm not even gonna read it. Bow, heavy attacks with bow has a completely new reload animation. Ooh. Okay, sure. Snipe. Yeah, same thing here. They actually reduced the time, but they also nerfed the damage by 21%, which is fine, I guess. It's still really strong. So this is another thing I think I tweeted out a while ago. I tweet so much shit on Twitter, Jesus Christ. I can't find it anymore. Anyway, Axes now increase the critical damage by 4% per X. Daggers now grant 3.4 critical chance per dagger, rather than 5%. Maces now grant 1600 penetration. And swords give you 142 weapon damage. So they pretty much reworked the whole thing. That's why axes are, like, all of them are actually pretty well within each other. Maces, in theory, would win, because 1650 penetration is a buttload per mace, right? So you get like 300, something like that, for 2. The reason why we still use daggers is it's too easy to get to the penetration cap, right? So you don't need the maces. So you rather use daggers. But swords are also juicy as hell. Same for two-handed, right? 8% critical damage for axes. Maces, 3300 penetration, and swords give 284. That's a lot of weapon damage. So weapon damage overall will be a lot higher. And actually, do I have a screen? I think for one of my PvP builds, put a screenshot already. It's really easy to get like super high. This is unbuffed, this is buffed, yeah, like 6400, and like this is for the no proc test that got extended, so it's like Hunting's Rage with 4, like all I have is Hunting's Rage and Fortified, which isn't even a very weapon damage focused setup. And I still easily get to like 6.4k, which is crazy. Because of like things like that. Okay, next up. Vampire with moist form. Anyway, that's a lot of fixes. I heard it's completely broken in PvP. Some werewolf changes. Oh, what? Oh, that's a huge nerf. Savage Strength, this passive now grants Major Resolve rather than increasing. Oh. So Major Resolve is like 6k resistance, so they nerfed it by 4k. Ay caramba. I mean, I guess okay. Werewolf is crazy tanky, it makes sense. Sure, it makes sense. Can't really complain about that. Fighter skill Banish the Wicked. This passive now grants free ultimate whenever you kill an enemy, while you have a fighter skill ability slotted rather than restoring. Yeah. So you need a fighter skill ability slotted for this to actually go off. That's why I removed it on a lot of the magic builds. It's not in the passives anymore. Now here, something else very important. Continuous attack. I tweeted about that as well. Good lord, I do love Twitter shitter. Yeah. Major Gallop. This passive now always grants Major Gallop, right? So they removed Major Gallop from Rapid Maneuver and they added it to continuous attacks. Why did they do that? Because people complained, like, why the F do I have to go to PvP to get rapid maneuvers? They're like, okay. They just put Major Gallop into continuous attack. So if you have a new character, you go do one battleground and you get this unlocked, right? You get Vigor and you get the first tier of the Assault. So now, whenever you mount up in Cyrodiil or also outside of Cyrodiil, everywhere, you get speed buff automatically. That also means you don't have to slot rapid maneuvers all the time just to get a speed buff. So it's actually a really good change. Why would you need rapid maneuvers now? Well, if you're not mounted, you still need a speed buff, right? For non-mounted activities. They changed some of the racial things. If you want more information on that, check out the news article here, the video. I talked about it. I don't really have to say a lot about this. Most of the changes make sense. Only thing that I really don't like is like High Elf. This passive now grants weapon and spell damage, right? High Elf gives you 258 weapon and spell damage. So High Elf now deals more damage on a stamina build than like an Imperial, than a Nord, than a Redguard or Wood Elf. Like High Elf actually deals more damage on a stamina build than a Redguard, Imperial or a Wood Elf. And I'm just like, bro, what the hell? The main reason why that is because like the sustained passives are just useless on these races here, right? Anyway, same for Orc. It gives you now like spell damage as well. It is what it is. They probably made this to make hybrid more valuable. There's a lot of set changes. Yeah. I would recommend reading through them yourself. It's just too much. My brain is exploding. I put the link in the description. Most of them not really like that big. I would recommend checking out all the builds on alcasthq to see what changed. Yeah, I might do a separate video on this. We will see. Otherwise, it is what it is. The video is already too long. Yeah. Actually, it's not too much. Berserking Warrior got reduced a little bit. Like I said, Kinraz is just better for stamina. Then Medusa got the small nerf, but still very powerful. I actually use it on most of my Magicka setups. And so on. One thing I want to notice, a lot of builds don't use like monster sets anymore. Because the Vateshran weapons are very good. You can still use monster set, but a lot of like one piece crit and another one piece crit is better than a monster set. The reason why monster sets are not that good anymore is because the champion point system got nerfed, right? You don't do 15% more damage on like poison or physical damage. You don't get more direct damage and so on, which a lot of the monster sets benefited from. Now they're just a little bit weaker and you might be better off with something else. So make sure to check out the builds on alcasthq.com. They're all updated, and check out the news article. It's all here. That's it for me. If you have any questions, I would recommend joining our Discord. I usually always try to answer here, and you will always know when there is a new content on there. You can try to catch me live on Twitch. I usually stream Saturdays, Sundays when I raid, so you can ask questions. I do have Facebook, Twitter. We do have the Dwemer Automaton Discord bot that you can use on Discord, Telegram, or also on Twitch. It's all here. Please don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching and have a nice day. Cheers.